Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Before we commence, let us sing the Mangalashanam prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Today is an extremely auspicious day, the disappearance day of the seventh Goswami Bhaktivinoda Thakur and also Gadadhar Pandit, the Hladini Shakti avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, on this auspicious day, let us proceed further with Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrt. Only by his mercy, how much access we have got to the highest secrets of the spiritual world. It is simply the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara, who did not consider what is our qualification. They are simply showering their mercy to whoever is willing to accept it, that's all. The only qualification is that we are willing to accept it. No other qualification is required. And our best way to repay the debt is by sharing this blessing with as many people as we can. So let us continue. So we have seen how the problem with Mrs. Yen got finally settled. The papers were finally signed. And Srila Prabhupada once again exhibited his great tolerance in this matter. Actually, when finally the papers were being signed by Srila Prabhupada and this lady, Mrs. N, Giriraj Maharaj noticed that this lady was crying as she signed the papers. And Giriraj Maharaj thought maybe she is regretting and remembering all the events that had taken place, the wrongs, the offenses she has done at the death of her husband. So it was a very intense moment, the culmination of months of struggle, years of struggle. So he went and asked this lady, why you are crying? And you know what she replied? Anyone can guess? What was the reply of this lady, Mrs. N? Why was she crying? Just guess, wild guess.
Is she sad that the property is now slipped her hand?
Yeah, you are very close. I think you are almost on it. What she said was, only today, one very important broker came to me and said he has found a buyer for the property who is willing to pay many more lakhs than what ISKCON is paying. And that is why she was crying. Hmm? See, so so everyone has their own logic. Only the other day we were having a nice discussion with a very senior devotee. He was saying, actually, there is nothing called a universal logic. You know, I don't know how much sense I am making, whether the subject makes sense to you. There is something called a logic each of us follow, right? We think we are logical thinkers, and we try to, when there is a difference of opinion, we try to explain to the other party using our logic and try to bring them to our point of view. And we all have a thought, a belief that there is something called universal logic, which is the perfect logic. And anybody can be brought to understand that logic. If we are able to properly explain, everyone will accept that. And we usually think my logic is actually quite the universal logic. So it should not be very difficult for anybody to see my point of view. Do you agree with this, or do you have a different idea? Remember this example of Mrs. N. Is there something like a universal logic which is perfect for everyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
There
Krishna.
may be, Prabhuji, but we all stand with our point that our logic is only correct, what we think is only correct. But universal logic must be there, I feel, Prabhuji. But
The question is it possible that the universal logic can be explained very rationally and people will be able to see the point and come around to accept it? Because it is logic, correct? When something is logic, that logic can be explained. It's almost like mathematics, right? People should be able to see and accept. So, what is your opinion? Please go on.
Related to material subjects, Prabhuji, I mean, there is logic which people will accept.
Mm-hmm.
Like in computers and in math, like you said, also, there is certain logic that everyone will accept, and we can say it is universal logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's not what I mean. Where emotions are also involved. It's not something as dry as explaining a mathematical formula or something. More where people's emotions are invested. We try to explain something to somebody else, and we feel that that person will be able to see the point of view that I am trying to present. But the point is, like in this case of Mrs. N, she will never be able to see the devotee's point of view. Even though the devotees can perhaps, after she responded, understand that this lady is in a different paradigm of logic. We cannot bring her around. So this is an important lesson for devotees also, who may be preaching, let's say, to a family member or some neighbor, relative, a friend. We may be trying to do that, but we may be actually causing harm. If we believe like there is a universal logic, and I am speaking from that logic, and anyone should be able to see it. What may happen is You may become frustrated and you may exhibit the frustration on the other person. Or you may actually feel that the other person is actually not very genuine, not seeing the point of view. They are bigoted, like that. You may get a feeling. But actually, there is nothing like that. Universal logic that everyone should accept. Everyone is carrying their own baggage and their logic. So the most important point to understand is the logic by itself doesn't have a foundation. It is all based on our own internal paradigm, which has been built on the basis of our own experiences and our own sukriti, whatever sukriti we carry. So if someone you are preaching to is not able to see your point of view at all, you should understand there is nothing like logically I will explain to this person. It will not go because that person has their own logic. This logic paradigm transformation comes only when they have the required sukriti for them. Till the time they will think they are very logical and they will think you are illogical. Are you able to see, get some meaning out of what I am saying?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. But what we are telling is the truth, but they will not able to understand. That is what, Prabhuji?
The truth takes so many forms depending on the person concerned. So the person concerned has a particular understanding of what the truth is, and you cannot deviate them from that. However much you may try to say that you have the truth and they don't have the truth, but it will not work that way. Say, even for example, we have the concept of the rasas in Gaudiya Vaishnavism only. You don't see it scientifically explained in the other Vaishnava philosophies. This is Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakya, Vatsalya, and all those things. So we believe that Madhurya Ras is the highest. And we think others are settling for something less like Dasya or Vatsalya, something like that. But actually, when you are on the platform of perfection, it means completeness, Purnam. There is no question of something being inferior or something being superior. Person who has reached the perfection in spirituality, then how can you tell them that this is an inferior perfection and there is a superior perfection? We must digest this. We should not try and somehow, because I believe that this is the ranking of the rasas, so we are offering Madhurya Prem and we should give our mercy by bringing everybody to this paradigm. No. Someone is meant for Vatsalya, they will remain for Vatsalya. Someone for Dasya, they will remain for Dasya. You don't have to feel bad that, oh, this person is stuck in something inferior. I think I shared this in this class only some time back, that there is a very nice book called Brihat Bhagavatamritam. There, one time, Narada Muni is searching for that devotee who has received the full mercy of Krishna. Who has received the full mercy of Krishna. So he goes from one person to another person. Nobody accepts that they have received the full mercy. They say, no, it is actually another person. And then Narada Muni goes to that person. So like this, he keeps moving from one devotee to another. No devotee says, I have received the perfect mercy. So at one stage, he reaches Hanumanji. And as others have done, Hanumanji also refuses that he is the recipient of the full mercy of the Lord. And he talks about Pandavas. They are the recipients of full mercy. But then Narada Muni says, okay, come, let's go. and meet the Pandavas. But Hanuman refuses to go with him. Even though initially he shows some interest, but then he says, no, no, no. Better you only go, I will not come. The logic is explained by Sanatana Goswami like this, that Hanumanji is established in the Dasya Ras, and the Pandavas are in Sakhya Ras. And Hanumanji felt that if he went there and they saw the intimacy of the Lord with the Pandavas, he becomes a messenger, he becomes their order carrier. They are joking with each other, they are sometimes even making fun of Krishna. They are sitting on the same bed, sleeping on the same bed, and all those things. So Hanumanji feels this will be too much for me to take. I have always related with the Supreme Lord as a master and servant. So if I see someone dealing with him on such intimate terms, I may do mental offense. It will be difficult for me to take it. This is what is going on in the heart of Hanumanji. He gives some other excuse. He says, see, Lord Ram, I have stayed behind, and Lord Ram may anytime call me. Sometimes suddenly he will call. The seva may come anytime. And if I don't go, I will miss that seva opportunity. And I may disappoint the Lord also. So I will remain here. So between these two rasas, we should not try to feel that my rasa is superior, your rasa is inferior. Even though very scientifically our acharyas have presented how one rasa is superior to another rasa, and how a higher rasa automatically includes all the lower rasas. All these things we have studied scientifically. But still you should not think that I am in Madhurya Ras, someone who is in Dasya Ras is actually enjoying some inferior rasa. It's not so. It's not so. So Lord creates all these paradigms, and each soul is unique, and the Lord is perfectly happy interacting with that soul in that mood. Gopakumar, that is also a part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Gopakumar goes to places like Vaikuntha, he goes to Dwarka, he goes to Ayodhya in the spiritual world. All these are actually spiritual places. The Ayodhya that we have in the material world is actually that Ayodhya which is in the spiritual world. So he goes from one place to another place. The Lord is present in Vaikuntha as Narayan. And when he goes to Dwarka, he's there as Aishwarya Krishna. Or when he goes to Ayodhya, he is as Lord Ramchandra, the master to everybody. And in each of these places, the Lord tried to make Gopakumar happy. The Lord tries to make Gopakumar happy. But then Gopakumar is only crying. Until he reaches the place where Krishna is Vraja Krishna as a cowherd boy. Till that time, he doesn't become happy. But all the other residents in that place where he goes, they cannot understand him at all. They just cannot understand. For example, when he is there in Dwarka, in the spiritual world, he is always in the dress of a Gopa boy. He never changes his attire. They tell him, oh, you are in this Gopa attire, you just wish and you will get any kind of a garment you want, any kind of body you want. You can become like us. So in Dwarka, they are all very royally dressed. And he is appearing like a very poor cowherd boy. That is, why you change? You just wish and he will become like us. But Gopakumar doesn't want to change. He is unhappy in Vaikuntha. Can anyone be unhappy in Vaikuntha? But Gopakumar displays that. And Naradamuni comes and talks to him. Naradamuni says, hey, Vaikuntha, this place is Vaikuntha, place without any anxiety. So Lord Narayan told me to go and meet you. And they have a plan. Narayan and Naradamuni, they have discussed. And so they keep sending. Has anyone read this Brihad Bhagavatam. Heard about this?
Prabhuji, there's a group called Bhakti Sangha. So Bhakti Sangha Japa group.
Yeah.
So they are that Preeti Vilasini Mataji is. So I've been listening to that.
Okay, yeah. It's a very, very nice book. It will give you a lot of understanding about the spiritual world. Give you quite deep. But the reason why I brought it up here is to discuss about the logic. So there is nothing like that that we can try to bring people around to our way of thinking. And we can only share uh, possibilities of Sukriti with everyone by giving prasadam, by making them hear the Krishna Katha or holy names, take them to the temple, make them appreciate the beautiful deities, the cleanliness in the temple, the very friendly relationships of devotees. If they in their hearts they will appreciate, they get the Sukriti. And Sukriti will transform their logic. And then they will be able to come around to that logic. So you have to see whether this person is compatible, whether he is sajatiya. And if they are of the same jati, then we can try to share with them. So here with Mrs. Yan, we saw this very unique thing. She's sitting right next to Srila Prabhupada and she's signing the documents. And that too after such a struggle where she lost her husband also. She is not even crying for her husband, who suddenly died. Only when this property sale was being negotiated, she has forgotten all that. She has enough wealth. We already described the house, their house in Juhu. How the car in which Srila Prabhupada went, there was a huge gate. The security opened that gate. And inside the car drove for quite some distance. Both sides there were huge trees. And eventually they reached a big lawn. In the lawn there were garden chairs and all that, where this man was sitting with others. And the house was behind that, a huge bungalow. Such a property in Juhu they already have. But still, and this property has gone for a good purpose. There is a pure soul who is going to build a temple there, but still, this lady's heart is not at peace. She feels she has been shortchanged and she must have got a better price. Misfortune, right? That she is not able to relish the moment for its intrinsic worth. But she is only thinking, oh, I missed a good bargain. Like that. Anyway, so after that was over, there was a huge feast. And Prabhupada told devotees, please inform all the newspapers that this property is now ours. Then so many people had gathered and the feast was served. Mats were rolled out in 2 rows and devotees brought leaf plates, and in front of everyone the plates were kept and they started serving various dishes to the seated guests. And Prabhupada was supervising the serving. And devotees served several courses of rice, dal, many varieties of pakoda, potato, cauliflower, and brinjal, potato sabji, wet cauliflower sabji, papad, barfi, laddus, cham cham. I hope all of you had your dinner. Milk sweet, vermicelli, kheer, halwa, and a lime drink. It was a festive and happy occasion. And all the devotees were saying, Jai, Jai, after the signing of the document. Everyone was happy. And then Prabhupada described his plan for Bombay. He said, everything in this temple will be marble. He told everyone, marble. There will not be a single thing that is not made of marble. Actually, it is so. If you go to Juhu temple, everything is marble. Deities are marble. The towers of the deities are marble. The entire structure is marble. Very ornate marble, white marble. The floor is marble, everything. So some people are asking, how is it possible he can make everything from marble? Prabhupada said, so now it is a technical question for engineers. But Prabhupada straight away explained it is possible. It can be done, like an engineer, Prabhupada answered. He visualized the project and everyone was thrilled to hear Prabhupada explain it. Prabhupada said it will be like one of the 7 wonders of the world. People will be attracted from all over to come and see it. It will be a landmark in Bombay. All this has come true. All this has come true. Prabhupada explained the whole project as if he saw it in his mind's eye. And he said that after it was constructed, it will be more than what we could visualize. It will be fantastic. So it was a late night feast. Everyone departed. Prabhupada returned to his room. He was leaning behind his desk, and Prabhupada said, it was a good fight. Good fight for Krishna. Later, Prabhupada would give the example of this Bombay struggle to explain to people that if you are in Krishna consciousness, there is no problem. But actually, Prabhupada had so many problems, but still, he doesn't see them as problem at all. A pure devotee doesn't see any difficulty as a difficulty in the service of Krishna. Otherwise, how you can explain this, right? Juhu meant so much struggle and so much problems. But Prabhupada is saying, as if there was no problems. And Prabhupada said, now we have spent in Bombay 18 to 20 lakhs of rupees. Prabhupada said this when he was back in Europe. He was telling, 18 to 20 lakhs we have spent to get the property. And Prabhupada said, the property is actually worth 50 lakhs. Prabhupada said at that time, 1973, right? People are surprised to think that ISKCON could buy such a property, such an expensive property. Where does the money come from? So Prabhupada says, some of them are envious. But if you come, you will find that it's a very, very fine place. It is just like a paradise garden. All the American devotees of Prabhupada were saying it's such a God-forsaken, hopeless place. Who will come here? But Prabhupada is saying it's like a paradise garden. 20,000 square yards. And we have got 6 existing buildings. So actually, when we come to Krishna consciousness, there are no problems. Only way you can explain this is when you are serving Krishna, you feel filled with joy that you have got an opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord, and that fills you with happiness. You know Krishna loves you unconditionally. He loves you fully, and that love is forever. Even if you are the most fallen, Abhichet Sudhuracharo Bhajate Mam Anandya, even though you are a most fallen person, but Krishna will continue to love you. He will always see you as a pure soul without the contamination of your karma. He will always see the soul, and the soul always gets his love. He's only trying to purify your contamination and take you back. So when you are understanding Krishna's mood, Krishna's nature, Krishna's relationship, then you get so much joy in serving, and you have no fear or anxiety or worry, or you never feel tired. That's why Prabhupada is saying that no problems. And no problems means Srila Prabhupada saw how Krishna personally arranged everything for his devotees. Even though he struggled and made everything happen, but he still feels Krishna arranged everything smoothly for us. Whenever money was needed, it had come in an amount that ordinarily would have been impossible to collect. But Prabhupada was able to, just like that, collect and pay. Whenever there was a need, we will see more examples in the days to come. And the formidable opposition was there, but Krishna removed it. And Prabhupada had no organized source of income. And he had no political influence to fight men like Mrs. and Mr. N. But because he was surrendered to Krishna, all the problems went away. The problems of the world are created by non-devotees who defy the injunctions of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is in Bhakti Yoga, he can understand that all problems are solved. We can practically see, like the Prabhupada is saying. And Prabhupada said also, a devotee must tolerate the problems created by non-devotees. So, in Prabhupada's own example, for more than 2 years, there was a struggle for Bombay property. And Prabhupada was also having to worry about inexperienced disciples. They could not handle the devious plans of the opposite party. It was an ordeal, test of patience. But because Prabhupada is not affected by Maya, there was really no problem for him. Maya doesn't cover his eyes. So Prabhupada showed by example that if you strictly follow Bhakti Yoga, you cannot be touched by the modes of nature, Maya. The same transcendental science he taught in his lectures and informal discussions, now he demonstrated in Juhu. Whatever he is teaching, he is practicing. He was faithful in Krishna consciousness and all his problems had become adjusted. So, by surrendering to Krishna, you overcome all problems. By surrendering to Krishna, the problems of Maya can be overcome. And by surrendering to the orders of Krishna's representative, the spiritual master, also, your problems will go away. So now it was time for Prabhupada to execute his plans as Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada said, Bombay is India's gateway, and we'll have a first-class hotel at Hare Krishna land. And they can enjoy the spiritual atmosphere of the temple. And the devotees, as long as they did not forget Prabhupada's example and instructions, they can use the facility successfully in the spirit of service to Krishna. The price Prabhupada had paid in tolerance and dependence on Krishna will never go in vain. That means future generations of disciples and devotees will enjoy the fruit of Srila Prabhupada's sacrifice. It will not go in vain. So Prabhupada was quoting Kapil Dev in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He is describing a sadhu. Titikshava Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehina Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhavo Sadhubhushana. So these are the symptoms. He is tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scripture. And all his characteristics are sublime. So all these features we see in Srila Prabhupada's example. So Prabhupada would always say, you have to tolerate. And this was very much seen in the Juhu episode. When so many problems came, when even the police came and attacked the devotees, Prabhupada could have considered that Krishna is giving me a signal that we should not pursue, we should leave this place. But no, Prabhupada did not give up. He still continued to serve the fallen souls of this world. The struggle for Bombay was for the welfare of the people. Prabhupada had no need, but he wanted it for the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. As a genuine sadhu, Prabhupada was merciful. I already have 100 temples. Okay, if this Juhu I don't get, it is okay. He did not leave like that. People are misguided and they are living like animals only for sense gratification. By the law of karma, they are going to suffer in their next life. So Prabhupada was unhappy to see this situation, that so many souls will suffer birth after birth in inferior forms of life. So Prabhupada felt so much compassion for them, even if they did not appreciate. Prabhupada's compassion is not appreciated by everybody, but still he doesn't withdraw his compassion. So he's a well-wisher of everyone. He's not bound by narrow concepts of nationalism. He doesn't see himself as Indian or American or even human being. He's an eternal spirit soul meant to benefit all living entities. How wonderful it is described. And a sadhu is Ajata Shatru. Why Ajata Shatru? Ajata Shatru means one for whom no enemy is born. No enemy has been even born. Such a person. Ajata Shatru. Jata means born. Ajata. Shatru, enemy is not born for a sadhu. Why it is like that? Because a sadhu never creates enemies. So he's not born. Sadhu doesn't create enemies. The envious person may declare themselves as enemies of sadhu, but sadhu always acts as a friend. Can you imagine this? People see themselves as enemies of the sadhu, but sadhu never sees it that way. He has no enmity, hostility towards anyone. It's all in the service of Krishna that they act. They have no other motive. So the envious person will continue to oppose Prabhupada because he is spreading Krishna consciousness. But what Prabhupada says, what can be done? Let us tolerate. That's it. Let us tolerate. Thus, even before any foundation was laid, listen to this, even before any foundations were laid for buildings, Prabhupada had already fully demonstrated all the ornaments of a sadhu. Remaining peaceful and dependent on Krishna, he had become victorious. And for whoever serves such a great personality, the devotees who serve Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavatam states, the door to liberation is open. Right? Moksha dwaram apavita. The doors of the liberation, it opens for them. Okay. So now we go to Vrindavan. Right? Now we are in Vrindavan. Prabhupada is in Krishna Balram Mandir, the proposed Krishna Balram Mandir. And we are going back a little. April 1972. April 1972. And Prabhupada's disciple Surabhi was there in charge of the architectural work, the construction work. Surabhi already has experience from Bombay also, where he made the designs of Bombay. Now Prabhupada has brought him to Vrindavan to also make the drawings and to execute the temple quickly. Bombay would take more time, but here Prabhupada is very keen that this should complete quickly Vrindavan. Because Bombay plans are very elaborate, very big. So Prabhupada gave some designs. He said, in Vrindavan we have the Govindaji temple, which is built by Rupa Goswami. But there is one more Govindaji temple by the side, which has got many arches, very decorated arches, and a huge courtyard. Prabhupada wanted a similar design, and Surabhi prepared it, and Prabhupada accepted it. That is a design we have in Vrindavan Krishna Balram temple now. You enter this wide entry, and then you have the arches, and then you go down some steps, and then you are in a courtyard. And in the courtyard, there are the steps you go up, and then you are in front of the altar, where you have Krishna Balram in the center, Gauranitai one side, and Radha Shyam Sundar, Lalita Vishaka. All these plans were made by Prabhupada. And Prabhupada named the deities also well in advance. These are the deities we are going to have. And Prabhupada said, we will have main deities as Krishna Balram. And the reasons were, number one, all temples in Vrindavan, they were Radha Krishna temples. And Prabhupada wanted ISKCON should have a unique temple. So ISKCON became Krishna Balaram temple. And one more reason, this land, what Prabhupada had got, was located in Raman Reti. Reti means sand. Raman Reti means playing sands. Most attractive, captivating sands. And these are the places where Krishna and Balram, along with the young cowherd boys, used to play. And that is where ISKCON had got the land. So Prabhupada decided that we should name this place after Krishna and Balram. So this is how it happened. But unfortunately, the temple was not coming up as fast as Prabhupada would have wanted. The temple president in Vrindavan was Gurudas Prabhu. Anyone recollect Gurudas Prabhu? Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Who is that?
Yamuna Mataji's
husband.
yes, Prabhuji.
Correct, correct. So both Yamuna Mataji and Gurudas Prabhu are serving here very quietly, very silently. These two people have performed great miracles in the service of Srila Prabhupada. Yamuna Mataji, the list will never end, the kind of services that she has done for the movement and for Srila Prabhupada. And Gurudas Prabhu, especially he showed his mettle in the Cross Maidan Pandal program in Bombay. There was the first big Pandal program of ISKCON in India, organized entirely by the Western disciples. And Gurudas Prabhu played a main role. He has a way of mixing with people, creating nice impressions, collecting donations, all these competencies he had. And when he realized that Prabhupada very much wants Vrindavan to come up, he and his wife volunteered, we will shift to Vrindavan. These devotees had no motive other than to somehow please Krishna, please Prabhupada. They knew if I please Prabhupada, that is my passport, visa, everything to the spiritual world. Nothing else needs to be done. They were 100% they knew Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Krishna. And they knew Prabhupada's direct access to Krishna in Goloka. If somehow I can please Prabhupada, I can return back home. They had 100% conviction. They had been seeing Prabhupada from the early days in New York, when Prabhupada had absolutely no money, staying in a storefront, not knowing whether that month's rent can be paid. Prabhupada was selling personally his Bhagavatam sets and trying to raise some money. With that money only, he paid rent, he purchased provisions for running his household and to serve the devotees who come, everything. From that time, these devotees know him and they know what kind of a devotee and a human being Srila Prabhupada is. They have never seen another person like him. And they were fully convinced. This is the mercy of Prabhupada. So when some other Western devotees, they ask Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you speak so much about Sukruti and so many things that one should have some punya punja, the carryover of punya from many lifetimes to become devotee. So what was our qualification? And Prabhupada said, very honestly, Prabhupada said, you had no qualification. And Prabhupada added, I made your qualifications. We should understand that Prabhupada is not saying in pride. Prabhupada is stating a fact that one cannot come to devotion unless they are favored by a devotee. Simply not possible. He may be a highly educated person coming from a highly respected family background. You may be very educated in all Vedic scriptures. You may do great austerities. Still, it doesn't make you qualified for bhakti. The qualification can be given only by another devotee. And all these cow flesh eaters in America, the Mlechas, who had no good qualities, the hippies, how did they become such devotees? How did they surrender to Prabhupada so completely? It was actually his mercy. When Prabhupada prayed to Krishna, oh Krishna, please help these people to turn devotees, give them a favorable attitude. The mercy came from Krishna. So that way, Prabhupada told them. So here, we see that Gurudas Prabhu and Yamuna Mataji willing to take any kind of difficulty, struggle, just to serve Krishna, to serve Prabhupada and to be near him. But one problem was, Gurudas Prabhu was not able to execute certain works while he was communicating. Prabhupada was not always in Vrindavan. Prabhupada was traveling. And Gurudas Prabhu would write to Prabhupada, yes, Prabhupada, this will be done, that will be done. We'll be ready to open the temple by Janmashtami, 1972. Like that, he was giving assurances. Whereas Surabhi Prabhu, he was not so sure. But Gurudas is temple president and he was corresponding with Prabhupada and he gave so many assurances. But actually some important things also he had not done. What are the important things? For example, He had not even dug a well in the property, and he had not approached the municipal authorities for the approvals, even though Prabhupada was repeatedly asking. For some reason, he had not done it. And Prabhupada was repeatedly saying, I want the temple to be opened fast. It's a top priority, very urgent. Please do it like that. And Gurudas would write back, yes, Prabhupada, it will be done. Like that. And Prabhupada said, the deities, what the deity should look like, Krishna will be black and Balaram will be white. And the pose will be like in the Back to Godhead magazine. In the back of the Back to Godhead magazine, that I don't know which picture Prabhupada is referring to, that in that form only Krishna Balaram deities have been made. And Prabhupada said, put up a big banner outside saying this is Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Mandir. So, and Satsvarupa Maharaj writes, in the year 1972-73, what this place looked like. Today, we all know how it is. So much bustle, so much traffic. You cannot even cross the road to the other side when you go to Krishna Balaram temple. Such rows and rows of rickshaws are parked, fatfatis are parked, and in the narrow passage, and big vehicles are passing. People are not able to walk. So much noise, honking sounds, the tire screeching sound. But this is not what it was. Now I'll explain to you, describe to you what it was like in 1972-73. You can close your eyes and relish this. And before that, in Krishna book, there is a conversation between Krishna and Balram and the cowherd friends. And Krishna is describing the place to his friends. What is that? My dear friends, just see how this river bank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. And just see how the blooming lotuses are attracting bees and birds by their aroma. The humming and chirping of the bees in the forest is echoing throughout the beautiful trees. Also here, the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered the best place for our sporting and pastime. This is about Raman Reti. Now, these people playing with Krishna in Raman Reti, they were all great rishis and munis, fully self-realized and filled with pious activities. And they had realized the supreme absolute truth as a person. And they are the ones that are now playing with Krishna in Raman Reti by virtue of all the accumulated sukriti of so many lifetimes. So Srila Prabhupada wanted the temple to maintain this peaceful, transcendental atmosphere. Anyone who comes there from abroad or from Delhi for a weekend, they should feel refreshed and completely relaxed in this place. And Prabhupada also wanted a nice tourist accommodation, a large tourist accommodation, because already Prabhupada was getting inquiry from major international travel agencies like Thomas Cook, saying a lot of people want to visit India. I see ISKCON was very famous. And many foreigners want to come to Vrindavan. So Prabhupada said, we must, otherwise, anyone who comes from abroad to Vrindavan will be cheated royally. But we will create an organization which will not cheat, which will treat the visitors with great respect and treat with them in such a way that they will have the best experience, a spiritual experience. So Prabhupada wanted that there should be a preaching center, and whoever tourists and hippies come to Vrindavan, they'll be given nice prasadam and they'll be engaged in chanting, cleaning the temple and reading books like that. So now in 1973, even though thousands of years have gone after Krishna came, the same atmosphere was there. Same atmosphere. Now it is not there, but at that time. Same atmosphere was there. Many of the same sights and sounds were still there. Peacocks were running across the road. There was no road, sand. Peacocks were running across the sand, or they were sitting on rooftops or on top of trees, and they were making all kinds of sounds. And there were pigeons and cuckoos and parrots with long green tailspan. They would be also flying and making a lot of noise. That was the scene in Ramanreti at that time. So Prabhupada has already made all the plans, but he is waiting for the temple to come up. Prabhupada could not stay in Vrindavan because ISKCON was growing fast all over the continents, and Prabhupada had to travel and guide people. In the presence of Prabhupada, work would happen a little faster in Vrindavan, but when he's gone, work will slow down because devotees are unable to maintain the same enthusiasm as when Prabhupada is present. Not only that, Prabhupada has a way of dealing with the local people, the contractors, the merchants, the suppliers, the middlemen, brokers. But when Prabhupada is not there, the conference is not there. And one time, Prabhupada gave a nickname to Gurudas Prabhu. What is the nickname? Damn Cheap Babu. He gave the name Damn Cheap Babu. You know why? Because he was getting all the time cheated. He's a Westerner and the local contractors are cheating. And what they tell him, see, we are giving you a damn cheap bargain. This price is so high we quote for others, but because you are a foreigner and you are a devotee and we love you, so we are giving a very special concessional price. And he would believe that and he will write the check. But when Prabhupada saw all these were inflated prices, so Prabhupada used to call him, you are a damn cheap Babu. Meaning they are cheating you by saying it is a damn cheap bargain, although there was cheating going on. So Prabhupada was very worried about the accounting systems in Vrindavan. So he instituted a very elaborate system for writing checks, especially for Vrindavan. I will tell you how it is done. Every check, if it is to be written, Gurudas Prabhu must first contact the Delhi temple president, Radha Parthasarathi temple. I think by that time it was there. Delhi temple president's name is Tejas. So Tejas would be invited. He will come to Vrindavan and examine the item of expenditure. And then a check will be written and it will be sent to Srila Prabhupada. Wherever he was, in the whole world, one check to be signed, it will go to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada would sign the check and the check will return to Delhi. In Delhi, Tejas will sign and then it will come to Vrindavan. So much Prabhupada, you all know, Prabhupada is, how meticulous Prabhupada is about accounting. In everything, Prabhupada is very meticulous. And when it comes to accounting also, he was perfection. Even today, you can see his diaries where he used to write his accounts. From the time he was alone. Even in Vrindavan, he used to write elaborate accounts. He was a sannyasi in Vrindavan. In his diary, he would write every paisa spent will be recorded in the diary. 5 paisa, 10 paisa will be written. You may wonder, no, that why such a pure devotee of Krishna is wasting time in accounting for 5 paisas. But he's setting such a wonderful example for the future of ISKCON. The people in ISKCON, if you are serving the movement, you are serving Krishna directly. If you are preventing wastage of money, you are actually directly serving Krishna. So that way, Prabhupada instituted this system. But even after that, problems were happening because Gurudas, the money given for construction purpose, he would spend it for day-to-day running of the temple because there was money shortage there also. And the merchants and middlemen, they were cheating. So this money would go to them. Again, Prabhupada would chastise Gurudas Prabhu. This was going on. And so Prabhupada, after his 1972 visit, he did not return for a whole year to Vrindavan. Everything was happening by letters. But these three projects remained top priority for him. The three being Bombay, Vrindavan, Mayapur. And anyway, so Gurudas was writing all these optimistic letters to Prabhupada that, yes, Prabhupada, we can open the temple very soon for Janmashtami 1973, like that. Even though Surabhi was not at all sure it would be possible because they were not getting quality workers, they were not getting materials like cement and steel. Everything was stuck up. And also, the summer of Vrindavan was unbearable for the Americans. They were living in small, small huts. And once the sun is up, they could not get out of the hut. They would simply lie down, not being able to leave. But then Prabhupada said, because Gurudas was giving assurances that Janmashtami, we will open the temple like that. So Prabhupada appreciated him, but he cautioned him that unless you work very hard, this kind of deadline you cannot meet. And also, you should finish the work before monsoon season. Otherwise, during monsoon, work will completely stop. But at the site, anyone who came to the site will know Gurudas cannot complete the project because material was lying all over the place and prices had become double and there was no money. So Prabhupada then said, I want to come. And the Janmashtami deadline was gone. Everybody realized it cannot be done. Prabhupada also did not speak too much about it. But he was pushing, complete the project quickly. And Prabhupada said, in October 1973, he would come. And please prepare my rooms at least. In the property, in the temple property, there is a place earmarked for Prabhupada's house. At least make it ready. But when Prabhupada came, the quarters was not ready. And Prabhupada lived with a friend in Vrindavan for a week. Right? And constantly Prabhupada is guiding Gurudas how to improve his management style. And Prabhupada wrote to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, please help Vrindavan. Try to bring some money. And once Prabhupada came, the work naturally speeded up. Devotees became more enthusiastic and things are happening. And devotees realized that this Vrindavan temple is very important for the whole world, not just one more temple. This is very important in the eyes of Prabhupada and very important from the global ISKCON for devotees from all over the world to come and visit. So everybody started working seriously. Anyway, so after so many deadlines coming and going, work was moving gradually. And in February 1974, see, deadline is gone. Earlier, Gurudas said Janmashtami 1973, but the deadline is all past. Now, February 1974. Prabhupada said, then my rooms will be ready. And Gurudas said, Surabhi told Gurudas 1 month. But Gurudas wrote to Prabhupada saying 3 weeks. And Prabhupada wrote back by telegram, I am coming in 2 weeks. Prabhupada came, and when Prabhupada came, Prabhupada's house was not ready. No roof, no floor, only the walls were there. But very quickly, working day and night, they prepared the room. How? Plastering and painting simultaneously on the walls. And on the floor, they laid bricks. They covered the bricks with cow dung. On that, they rolled out rugs. On the rugs, they spread white sheets. And then they prepared Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada came and occupied, even though that room had no heating. It was cold winter. But Prabhupada moved into the room and refused to go anywhere else. He said, this is my Vrindavan house and I am going to stay here. So Prabhupada stayed there. Visitors started coming, and as usual, every day Prabhupada would spend hours together talking to his visitors and enlightening them about Krishna consciousness. Then there will be lectures in the evening and kirtan. Now, there was a problem in Vrindavan. What is the problem? Gurudas Prabhu informed Prabhupada that the donor, you remember, this land is donated by Mr. S and family For generations, they had this particular property meant for a temple for Radharani, and they were looking for the right person to give that, and they gave it to Prabhupada. Against stiff competition, they gave it to Prabhupada. Now, the same Mr. Yes has told Gurudas that actually I am not donating the whole land. 50 feet from the main road, I will keep. 50 feet deep from the main road, the entire land I will keep. I will put up some shops, or I will put some petrol pump, but that land I am not donating. Suddenly, actually he had donated the whole land. There was understanding. But now he is going back. And he also said, anyway, you are not doing any construction. Your work is going slowly. We thought by this time temple would be ready. So some excuse he is giving. So I will take that land. And Prabhupada became alarmed. Other people not sufficiently serious, but Prabhupada became alarmed. What will happen to the temple? The entire frontage is blocked. The temple is shifted to the back. Now you have seen the temple in Vrindavan, how beautiful it is from the road. Imagine the first 50 feet, there are some other shops, petrol pump, and somewhere behind is construction. The Prabhupada was alarmed. Prabhupada said it will ruin the temple scheme completely, and the gift will become meaningless. Without a proper access, what is the value of the land? But when Prabhupada came to know that the deed, the actual gifted deed has not yet come to the hands of ISKCON. Prabhupada was never informed. Prabhupada became very disturbed. But he was calm, but very urgent. Prabhupada said, get the deed quickly from the registrar. Number one. Number two, build a huge brick wall, 12 feet high, all around the property, quickly, before Mr. Yes will see it. Because Mr. Yes right now is not in Vrindavan. He is outside, and they are corresponding by letters. Okay, build a wall. Then Prabhupada sent a telegram to Mr. Yes saying, Hare Krishna, settle up the front piece of land as promised. Prabhupada is here. Please give us that front portion also, like that. Mr. Yes immediately gave a reply. Front portion I am using for other purposes. As decided earlier, letter follows. So, now this is one more Bombay moment. Prabhupada is having something similar to Bombay. Even though Bombay land was purchased, here the land is donated. But still, after so much work has been done, so much money has been spent, there is a problem with the original donor. So now the devotees are realizing why Prabhupada was pushing them to construct the temple fast. If the temple had been already constructed, the donor will not even think of taking it back. But now, because you have not done it, donor is getting some ideas. Let me take the front portion, like that. Now the devotees are realizing their mistake. So the question, why hurry? Why be so anxious to build a temple right away? These questions they were asking, but they should never have been asked. It was a question of the lazy person. As long as Krishna consciousness movement had no temple in Vrindavan, the threat will be there that there may never be a ISKCON temple in Vrindavan. So it was very urgent that this temple should be built. So, okay, we will continue. Next week, we will see how this problem resolves, how this fight for Vrindavan property, how it ends, how Prabhupada deals with Mr. Yes, who is actually a Vrajavasi, right? Not like Mr. Yen, who is a demon and an atheist. Here we are dealing with a devotee, a Vrajavasi. So how Prabhupada will deal with him and how the matter will be resolved, we will see next week. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna devotees, any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. I'm sure you had lots of back-to-back